Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of PitchUs. We have an exciting celebrity guest with us, Renat. My name's Tim Cooley. I'm the author of the Pitch Deck book. I've been an angel investor and the executive director of an angel group in the past. Really excited to be here. Renat, please introduce yourself and your organization.
Hi everyone, my name is Renat, yes, and I'm a director at Start Accelerator. It's a part of Startup VC. So we're early stage VC with acceleration program in New York City. So basically we help international founders to scale their business in the US through our acceleration process. And then our main goal is obviously is to invest in those companies. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. And one of the missions of this podcast is really to kind of expose what happens on the back end of a pitch, right? So Brendan's going to present, we're going to give him feedback, and then at the end of it, we'll wrap up and say, based off of what we heard, would we move this company forward? And so please, with that, Brendan, please share your screen and then pitch us.
All right. Everybody can see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So I'm Brendan Woodruff, co-founder, COO of GoCharlie.ai, and we've created an AI content creation platform that enables anyone to become a creator with AI. Now, I think it's important to understand how the world is changing that is enabling GoCharlie.ai's success in the marketplace, but also is enabling the vision for the future that we have. Generative AI represents a step change in the internet. It's no longer AI that's recommending you your favorite podcast or your favorite piece of content on Facebook. Generative AI is fundamentally a tool that can be used to create new creative content. So now, with this technology being available, AI is becoming the centerpiece of products. It's no longer the afterthought or the underpinning of your product experience. It is the full on product. So we believe that those that will win in the future, both in business and in personal lives, are going to learn to adapt to these new, incredibly super powerful tools to become effectively superhumans. Now, you've chosen to take generative AI and use it on a process that is very time consuming, costs too much, is super confusing from what you should create, and it oftentimes is generic. We found that on average, creating content costs around $2,500 a month just for one agency to create 5 to 10 social media posts. We've also noticed that it takes at least 2 hours to write a social media post, if not 10 plus hours for a quality blog, and 12 or more hours for quality visuals that match the vision that you have for advertising your brand. More importantly, you may not even know what works. You may not even know marketing. Maybe you're a founder and you don't have an idea of how you should really advertise your brand. So what did we come up with? We came up with a solution that goes across visual and text-based content. And that product itself is GoCharlie. So we have 4 main features that are being used in this product. One is that we're able to generate images. 2 is generate blogs. 3 is content scoring, which helps you engage your audience through properly structured content. So think Grammarly for content engagement. And then content repurposing, which is a really exciting feature. But I personally find that while this is great to think about, products are best experienced. And so I'd love to take you guys through the platform real quick. So GoCharlie.ai is a live product. You can play with it. You can sign up for a free tier. We've been doing quite a bit of revenue over the past couple of weeks, but it's more fun to experience it. So we were actually number one on Product Hunt at the end of September for what we did with image creation. We were the first ones to release both vertical and widescreen image creation, but also to create 4K images and 2K images and HD images, which are super important as we grow in higher and higher resolution devices across the platforms and channels that you're putting your marketing content into. Then we also can create photos here. I won't do it while you guys are on the phone, but these are just some really cute puppies that I made just before the call as more of my Rachel Ray preparing the baked goods before the show actually happens. Now, one of the features I'd love to walk through is the content repurposing tool, because this is really where we're starting to see the company take off. So have you ever done a talk where you think about, hey, I've done this really cool talk, but I want to turn this into a blog so that I can then send it out and use that content across a bunch of different media channels? Well, what if the AI could do it for you? So here I've taken a YouTube video that's on fundraising fundamentals by one of the YC Startup School instructors, and I can put this into my audience. and I can set my goal for what I want the content to do. So let's say that we are here to explain, because this is an educational piece about fundraising fundamentals, and I press fetch. And so what Charlie's doing here is he's going into the YouTube video, assessing what's going on, the highlights, the most important points, and he's turning that into a blog summary, and then he's turning that into a blog outline so that you have effectively a summary of key talking points that are discussed in this YouTube video. Now, it's taking a little bit longer than we might want because there's some high traffic on the platform, but eventually what happens is he pops up with a blog that details all of the different points that were discussed in this YouTube video. But you know what? Talking points are great. They're awesome for summaries. They're really cool for show notes. But let's take it a step further. I now can kick this into our blog wizard tool and make any sort of edits that I want to the talking points and have Charlie go and fetch a blog for you in the matter of 30 seconds. So while that's happening in the background, I want to show you something really cool that you can do with these images that we've created. So let's say that I've taken that picture of a dog and I think it's really great. I can go in here, choose an influencer tone that makes it sound super natural when the text is working. And Charlie will take this image and he will write short form marketing copy based purely off of this image. So we have both computer vision and copywriting technologies working together. And now we have 4 really cute options with all of these puppies that are able to provide you optionality. You know, best practices for marketing is always have 4 or 5 different versions of the copy, see what performs best, and then double down on the one that does. So while we've been doing this in the background, Charlie has finished your blog. It's 1,500 to 2,000 words long. This is a really cool feature that we've released, but in the future, we see this expanding quite a bit, which we'll get into in just a second. Now, there's a bunch of other things that the platform can do, but let's talk a little bit about the team that's behind it. So we are a unique team, but first, let's maybe talk a little bit about the traction. We were #1 on Product Hunt at the end of September, and we've grown massively since then. We did 30K revenue in back-to-back weeks. In the weeks leading up to this, we're on pace to do it again this week. Our total paid users are up 500%, total users up 400%, daily active users is up 200%, and our total revenue is up by more than 800% in the time since September 5th when we relaunched the product in this version. Our Facebook community members, this is actually not even up to date. It's actually grown by 700% in the same amount of time. So we are in hyper growth mode. People are loving Charlie. They're loving the product. And they've even said as my peer. We were recently mentioned the Wall Street Journal is one of the top generative AI players on the market. And we're continuing to build on that branding. But more importantly, our customers love us. We saved someone $1,400 a month with that content repurposing feature that you just saw. We've also had people compare us across the Jaspers and the writers in the copy.ais of the world, and we are still outperforming them just with a 4-person team that is heavily focused on the technical aspects of the intricacies of what we're building. Let's learn a little bit more about that team. So we are unique in that we are incredibly technical for our early stage, but we are also not so technical that we can't think about the problem we're solving and deploy products. Between Kostas and Despina, 2 AI PhDs, we have 20 years of applied AI experience building NLP models and deploying multimodal models across a number of different use cases. Then they are joined by Ryan Carlton, who's a full stack AWS engineer and is also a 4th-time founder. Myself, personally, I come from SoftBank. I was at Uber for their IPO team before that, and I was the 35 times groomsman. So I actually am bringing the network that we need into the company to supplement all the incredible technical expertise that we have here. The way to think about our roles is that I'm the one that's doing everything but coding. Ryan's focused on front-end development and infrastructure, and Kostas and Despina are AI mad scientists in the kitchen cooking up the really cool products. Now, our business model is super simple. We have a free tier for people to try out what the product does, try out the quality, and ultimately the fetch tier, which is $29 a month, $290 a year. We do plan to raise those prices towards the end of this year, given the success and the compute costs that we have. But with this business model, we're trying to target a couple key audiences. So 1 is entrepreneurs, 2 is marketing agencies, 3 is SEO freelancers, and then the 4th would be a in-house enterprise marketer. The commonality across all of these folks is that they're pressed for time. They need an AI tool that can take their business in mind and create customized content, but can also vastly reduce the learning curve to going across different industries or different types of projects. Secondarily, we see influencers and creators starting to use these tools, but we believe them to be the longer tail in terms of adoption. Now, the market opportunity is a little bit high level, but the main thing to know about this is that the marketing industry and content creation industry and AI services industry are all in hyper growth mode. Digital content is more necessary than ever before as COVID has accelerated the need to be both digital and physical to have a presence and to grow your customer base. But also, given the compute developments and the cheaper compute being available and all these AI models coming to market, the amount of AI services that are that are available and addressable are becoming higher and higher. These are growing at 40 almost percent CAGR. Now, it wouldn't be fair to talk about the generative AI industry in the space that we're playing in without these competitors. Jasper just raised a massive round. They have created a great go-to-market plan, and they were the loudest ones in the room and surpassed Copy.ai, who was the first mover, and Anyword, who's been at this for about 10 years as an Israeli startup focusing on AI. But where we think that we're differentiating is really simple to understand, in that we believe that content creation problem is multimodal and should consider images and text all as one thing. Now, if you're using someone else's technology, it's incredibly difficult for you to be able to go across those modalities, so images and text at the same time. Jasper has even put it out publicly that they view art as a completely separate thing than their copywriting business. We want to be an AI platform that brings these all together in a very meaningful way. So what does that mean in terms, and how are we bringing this to market? So our go-to-market, mainly focusing on a product-led growth strategy, powered by a heavy affiliate marketing engine. So what we're doing here is we're seeing customers join the platform, pay for the product. They're then signing up for affiliates. We have nearly 50% of our customers are signed up as affiliates as well. Those affiliates are then using the tool that they purchased from us to create affiliate marketing content to recruit new users and new customers. Those customers then become affiliates, and the flywheel goes round and round and round. So we're starting to see some significant traction and an acceleration of customer adoption based on this flywheel really getting going. Now, let's talk a little bit about where we might be going. So the content repurposing feature, I think, is a tease towards that. But what we're trying to allow is that you can come to the platform with an idea or your own content library, or maybe someone else's content, and you can put it through Charlie. Charlie will apply your brand guidelines, your brand voice, the goal of your content, your target audience, the in platform you're publishing to, and create any type of content that is available on our platform already. In this way, we think that anyone can use the platform for all of their content needs across all the modalities. Now, how does that come together and where we're going to focus the next 12 months? Three buckets. So one is multimodal. We already talked about this. Being able to have visuals, text, even audio come together in a really compelling experience, but that works across a single prompt. So what we want to be able to do is say, I want to create a marketing campaign, and Charlie goes and creates the whole marketing campaign for you, but also does visuals and text using the same information that you've given it across all of those modalities. Now, it wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have a customization and goal-driven layer. There's two components to this. One is customization, and so that really focuses on customizing to the business and the brand voice of a customer. It is extremely difficult to deploy models at an individual user level. So what we're going to look to do is take a content library and distill that down into brand presets, layer that over our own AI models, and ultimately create content that's as if your digital twin was writing it and creating it for you. The second layer of customization is being goal driven. So your content should change based on if your goal is brand awareness versus website traffic, if you're trying to target Gen Z versus baby boomers. Your content needs to change dynamically based upon your goals, and we're building that into the product's capabilities, which is only enabled by our ability to layer our own AI into this platform. Now, the last part, I like to refer to it as the onboarding problem. So we don't see everybody in the world learning how to do prompt engineering. It's just not something that people want to do. I personally work at this company, and I don't want to learn to prompt engineer. I didn't want to learn the software code, but our team is really good at it. So what we're going to do is put a layer over all of these AI models where we massage user inputs to create the best outputs in terms of prompts that can then maximize the value you're extracting from these AI models. In this way, you could think of a world where we would replace Canva. we would effectively give you the ability to first have the AI create the content that you need, but then rapidly iterate by giving it text-based instructions using your keyboard, such as maybe changing the brand of the laptop in an image, maybe changing the color, maybe changing the hairstyle, maybe changing the entire photo subject matter such that it evokes a certain type of emotion. So for us, that's really the opportunity here, is to make AI this very collaborative, high velocity, interactive experience that goes across all these modalities such that you don't even have to touch a mouse anymore. And maybe eventually you're just talking to the AI and it's making adjustments. Maybe it effectively becomes your Jack or Jarvis, like Tony Stark. So it really gets us into, well, what's stopping us from getting there? And so that really brings us to the ask. We're looking to raise 1.5 to 2 million and 8 million post money. We're hoping to do via SAFE, but we're open to price rounds with a close in December 2022, with an eye towards closing even earlier than that, given our recent traction and our recent success. The use of the capital will be investing in sales and marketing, continuing to do research and development of our marketing foundation model, and then additional software engineers and AI headcount to supplement our existing abilities. Milestones we think that we can reach based on this new round would be 5 million in ARR for our B2C product, launching the Instruct command capabilities that we just spoke about, and then starting to monetize our B2B models with our custom foundational models based purely for marketing. Now, we have a bunch of top AI and business minds on our cap table already as angels. And so we're looking to take that new next step into syndicates that can be value add, VC funds that can help us with our technical expertise, as well as introducing us to new customers and people that have been operators before that have turned into VCs. So that's the pitch. We really hope you enjoyed it. And this time I'll take any questions you have.
Awesome. Thanks for that. That's great.
Sorry.
All right. So good. So let's start off with what we really liked. Renat, please kick us off.
Yeah, how long was it? It's like long pitch, like 10, more than 10 minutes. I would say that, wait, what we liked. So I like the
What we
product.
like.
Yeah, I like the presentation that you showed the demo.
Yep.
It's gonna be the good thing, and then, but I mean, it's gonna
Yeah,
go on
yeah.
both sides. So
You can say like, I like this, but go ahead and do that.
yeah, I mean, it's a bit mixed feelings because my general comment here, my general feedback, it's this pitch is, so this pitch deck is the mix of different purpose pitches.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, if you want to pitch on like pitch contest, I don't know, web summit, collision, any event like that, so you will not be able to show this demo, for example.
Correct. Yeah.
So demo is usually second step, like second interview, maybe say second call. And when you can, if VC or accelerator are interested, they would arrange a new call, and then you can show your demo. This is very, in the startups like yours, it is very important to show this demo, because sometimes you cannot understand why it's AI inside, what is it actually, I mean how it works, etc. Second thing is too much text there.
Yeah.
So if you send this presentation just by email, it's usually fine. Maybe I'll find, I mean, any VC like a partner with time fine to read it, to understand more. But if you pitch it like with your voice, with the presentation, so it should be more visual. And let's say I would, so for example, instead of demo, I would put this, you had this slide where it's start anywhere, something like that.
Yes.
So it's good slide. You can put it as like a product to explain the product instead of demo, because you kind of repeated it all on this slide. So before that, you explained everything, and then you repeat it on a visual way. So it's a good visual way, but put it there. Less text. I mean, text is, again, when you pitch like that, it's not going to be like, nobody going to read it, honestly. When it's like an audience, no, never. So yeah, in general, it's like that. So we can discuss the product, we can discuss roadmap, etc. So I like the team. So it looks legit, like PhDs, MBAs, AI. I like that you have some angels. If you could name them, it would be better if they like with some experience in AI you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you started, I didn't like roadmap slide at all.
Yeah.
You took too long
Nope,
on talking about that. So with roadmaps, my advice is you can take traction, like combine traction and roadmap slide. So
Okay.
it's going to be like timeline, what we achieved, what we're going to do, what are our milestones,
Got it.
and it would be easier to understand.
Okay.
That's it's shortly
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so a couple things that I really liked about it. I think you have a good energy, honestly, when you pitch. It's easy to follow along with you. I think you got a little wordy in places,
Yeah.
but it's not like I didn't get bored with you. I just got a little bit tired of some things,
Yeah,
right?
long. It's a bit long. Yes, it's
It's
like
just long, right?
Yeah.
yeah. Attention span
And
is
so
like short nowadays, so it's not like
real short, right? And so I think you had a good flow. I actually like the strategy for marketing. I mean, this is very similar to what Shopify did. A lot of platforms that are kind of like this um, entrepreneur in the making in a way
Yeah.
use this kind of
yeah.
affiliate, and I love that actually. And so I'm going to agree with Renat. Your team is really impressive. I think you could add to that same slide, you know, these are our advisors, this person's like, and you could star them or do something and just say, hey, these are all the people that have invested in us, because they're probably advising you as
Yeah.
well, I would
Yeah.
imagine. And so that's a beautiful way of just connecting all that without getting cluttered.
Love it.
Um, yeah. So let's go into, you already mentioned a couple things, Renat, that you would improve.
N-
Anything else?
So don't. I mean, it's my advice. Maybe I'm wrong, but I advise it to all. Recommend it to all startups in your stage, in the early stage startups. Market opportunity. I mean, we don't believe in that. So you're gonna pivot a lot. You have to explain your market. You have to put a lot of math in that. I should understand. Just like whole AI market is like something $1 billion. I mean, I cannot feel that. I don't know what is it. Maybe in half a year you're gonna pivot and change your model at all. In early, it's okay, but market is not like you can put it, I mean, show it, but you have to explain why.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the math inside? How did you
Yeah.
count that?
Yep.
And that should be understandable. Just because, I mean, put like some research about AI market from internet. It's not what I want to see.
Got it. So more of like a
Let me add
Yeah,
to that real quick.
more of a
yeah.
bottoms up.
Yeah, bottoms up for
Got it.
sure. That's the easiest way to do that. Because your thumb, I mean, your differentiation was like only a billion in each different category.
Mhm.
So if you're like, look, we're going after the social media marketing people, we know that there are, let's say, 50 million of those companies, then you could just multiply times $25 a month, and then you've got the total addressable market.
Or annual, yes, you can put annual, like in 2 years we
Whatever.
got to reach that market and then grow. Also, I didn't like competitive landscape slides. So visually, it was okay, but with visually, it's just like this all crosses and like green sides too big. I prefer to see logos of your competitors because now I visually can understand what is. Maybe I saw them, maybe I use them, but this like kind of it just maybe taste kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
it's covered everything, but maybe like to kind of adjust this design there. That's the thing.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and also yeah. Again, one more thing. So your how to say it. So um, your visual, your design, your kind of brand, it's not the same on your slides. So one slide is completely text, one slide is very visual, very beautiful. I like, for example, some slide with business model, I believe, and with this, explaining your product, start anywhere. I mean, bad title, but good slide. So
Yeah.
good visual. So, but then you go again to just text like a Word document, like a
Mhm.
doc. It's like
Yeah.
so it should be consistent. So whole design. I mean, did you? I mean, do you have help with like of some designer, or is like your job? What is it?
We mostly use Canva ourselves
I
in
mean,
terms of designing the slides. Yeah.
so it was a good. I now our last pitch contest was good advice from team to one of our founders hire designer, so they
Yep.
know how to do that. Sometimes you have to. I mean, you can give them some tasks, some insights, but they should put it in a consistent design way, like a consistent branding. It looks better. Like
Okay.
see that as a good product.
Cool.
Yeah, I am 100% on board with almost everything that was said. A couple things that I would suggest doing is your problem statement. I think that first of all, just so many words on that. You can break that up and make it very visual.
Okay.
Everybody knows a lot of those things are true already,
Yep.
and you could just tie some visuals to it with one word, right? Time consuming, and then you can throw some data points on it or something. But you don't need a ton of words to convey that, because remember, you're talking at the same time,
Yeah.
so you get that background feedback. The font that you used was really small,
Okay.
so I highly recommend no less than like a 22 size font. I have this thing in my book where we say, um, take the oldest person in the room, divide their age by 2, and that's the smallest font you should use.
Yeah.
So if I'm 80, then 40, right?
Yeah.
So that gives you about how much room you have to work with when it comes to font. But no, 22 is the minimum I would consider.
Got it.
You kind of sped through the solution slide. In this case, I understood to get to your demo, but it, like what Renat mentioned, sometimes the internet access sucks. Sometimes you don't have that opportunity. So figuring out a way to communicate the solution via visuals, like either pictures is the best, pictures of the solution. The second best, and I'm not truly recommending this, but animated GIFs can kind of do the same thing.
Okay.
Definitely not video. Video can work, kind of like in your demo, it can work. Yours actually worked really, really well. But just be careful with that. And I think something you might want to look into doing is if you root your problem statement into the specific type of marketer. So, for example, like let's take PitchUs, right? We're a small team and we want to be creating 5 blogs a week, with 20 social media. That's a pretty standard package for social media. You could run your entire presentation off this like kind of one solution, right? And you're like, this whole thing was built in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And right, so you can root this as like these people, like most entrepreneurs need this type of marketing. Here's the solution, and we built it in 30 seconds, something along those lines.
I love it.
Obviously, we'd have to play around with that. But you can kind of see it's like, go ahead.
So no, go finish it and then.
I was just gonna say you can kind of see how that the solution is the opposite of the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you want to get to. Otherwise, like we get it, but like you got to communicate it as well.
Got it.
I realized one thing while Tim was, talking about that. So I think that your beginning of a presentation is more about sales presentation, not investment presentation. So the very first slide, you explain about AI. Yes, maybe for your potential clients, for bloggers, it may be interesting that like, hey guys, here's whole market with AI, we can do that and that. But for investors, I mean, you don't need to, put them, because you already go to some investors that, maybe invested in something like that. They invest in AI. They know about that. You don't need to explain them like kind of basics. And then a demo. Demo is mostly for sales kind of pitch, not investment pitch. So you kind of from sales pitch you move to investment pitch. I think you should. Usually you have to have 2 different pitches, even more like 3, 4 different pitches for events, for investor call, sales, etc., different types of pitch decks.
I love it.
Yeah. So keep that idea is that you're pitching a business opportunity. So you're trying to say there are these many marketers who want to sell this functionality to some business, right? So they don't care if it's AI driven or you've built something crazy on the back end. Like there's just this problem set that exists in the world, and that's what you're painting a picture of. As far as flow goes, it was easy to follow. And then you hit that start anywhere slide.
Yeah.
And then like Renat said, you kind of started all over again.
Mhm.
So we were like kind of on the tail end, and then you went like, and we were like, oh,
Yeah.
like you just told me everything you already told me.
Yeah.
And then it was
that
roadmap
actually happens
slide.
quite a lot.
Very slow. Roadmap slide.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything from that, to be honest.
Got it.
So
Yep. And the roadmap slide's a good one too, because What I want to know is what you're going to accomplish in the next 18 months or whatever this funding round is. So you're like, we're going to launch version 2. You know, we launched version 1, we're making 30K a month. Now we're launching version 2. We're hiring a salesperson and some marketing people to do a thing. Right?
Yep.
That's all we need to know.
Yeah, again, it's the same thing with it's more about sales. So you explain your potential client what you're gonna have in the next couple of years, but
Yep.
you have to explain. Investors usually look at numbers, not what you're gonna do like in product wise. You have to show milestones. You have to show potential traction, potential sales, paying customers, etc., etc.
Yep. And then one of the things I want to recommend, and this I call a hope concept. Some people will say like, well, we hope to get a big company, and you said maybe a lot. Well, maybe you could use it for this, maybe this. Like, I don't want maybes, I want facts. So like, we are launching this thing, right? Like, our future client will use it for this purpose. And so remove that kind of like wishy-washy language.
Yep.
And it's statements, this is what we're doing, you know, that kind of thing. Let me see if I have any other feedback.
You started
That's all I got.
Just in May, right? May was your start point?
That's when we launched the MVP, and then the current version of the product we launched in September. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, so I would be looking at, look, we launched in May.
Yeah.
Learned some things. V1 really came out in September. We learned some things. Now V2 is coming out, which needs to have these 4 things. That's your roadmap.
Got it.
And that's all I need to, you don't need any more information than that.
Okay. Yes, traction and roadmap, it should be combined. It's my I think it's always should be like that. So it's again consistent. You see kind of logic. You see your idea. You see your potential. That's good.
One slide we did not see was a financial projection slide. We work with Forecaster quite a bit, and you know, that's a slide that actually gets missed quite often. My recommendation is go from problem to solution to business model to financial projections. We all know that they're wrong, but when we're listening, it's like, okay, I see what the problem is. I get the solution. It costs $20. Oh, I can see where all your revenue came from. Like, I don't know where your 30K came from.
Got it.
After this presentation, right? I should have already known that in the middle of the deck, because then it would build to your market slide, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I see how you're going to go from 30 to 60 to $1 million. And then, oh, I can see the market is $10 billion or whatever. And those things kind of lead right into each other.
They all flow together. Got it.
Make sense?
Great.
Any other feedback?
One small feedback. Think about exit strategy. So for venture capital firms, it's very important because the worst thing we got is a cash cows. If you got if you will generate enough money for your life, let's say, to cover all your costs, it's great for you, but very bad for VC.
Totally.
So VC, we need to understand what kind of M&A you like as a potential M&A you see, for example, or is it a IPO, or what is it? How fast you're gonna grow? Why? So it should be like venture model. So that's when we can understand, but then we can make a decision about investment. Because in our accelerator we have a lot of great startups. They became cash cows, and it's a huge problem for us because dividends is not our model. It's we're not happy with it. We're happy for founders. We're not happy for our business because it's like you cannot do anything with that. It's a successful business, no growth, and you cannot sell it, no exit. So it's a problem.
Totally.
Because VCs, they invest in exits. Actually, it's not for your like revenue. Should be some revenue, of course.
Yeah. Their
traction,
like a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. So just it's multiplicators should be great. Yes.
Well, awesome. So this brings us down to our final question, why we're here. So Renat, based off of what you heard today, would you move this company into due diligence?
Let's say, so for acceleration program, yes. For investing, for now, I need to discuss valuation because it's not it's not a common it's not a it's not your problem. So I work with international founders, not American founders mostly. So that's why we have this kind of discount. For me, this 8 million, you just started, you just have MVP. In September, for me, 8 million post would be a lot. From my side, but maybe I'm wrong here. So maybe American funds would get this. So usually that's why, for example, in our acceleration program, we have this pitch contest. We invite different investors, and our founders, they kind of test this ask. So sometimes they ask more for more valuation, sometimes they ask less, and kind of check the reaction, kind of test it. So
That's
from my
smart.
side, yes for acceleration program, no for VC right now. Because for in acceleration program we can work with your pitch deck, we can help with all of that. So that's why it's definitely yes for a program, but not for investment right away.
Got it.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, this for me is kind of like those maybe. So one of the things we talk about to founders is usually in a due diligence process, there's usually multiple stages, right? So let's assume there's a screening meeting that took place, and that's this meeting. I'm interested in what you're doing enough to move you to a general meeting, but I would need to see some serious changes in the deck from now until then. Like if you didn't make any changes, it'd be a guaranteed no. Right? Like that would just be a promise. If you made some really good changes, what you've proven to us is you're coachable. And we're like, oh, this person like gets what what we're looking for, right? So you come in, you pitch again. At that point, then I think this would be a good one to go on to due diligence because I would want to see the financial model that you've created so far. I don't know where it would go after that, but I do think for me, I would like to see that. At least I would take you to a general meeting for sure, but I would like to I would take you to a due diligence because I want to see how the numbers are playing out, and that's typically what's going to happen, right?
Totally.
In due diligence. So that's my answer. My answer is I would want you to come back. And that's not a yes or a no, but it's a kinda. Which is still
it's yes
good.
for
It's
due
still a good
diligence
thing.
for acceleration program. Actually, what you mentioned, acceleration program helps with that. Actually, we check for us. It's kind of due diligence process as well for our VC. So we check the team. We have a lot of feedback from our coaches. So we can. I mean, you sit in the office for 3 months with the founders. You can understand if they're coachable or not. How do they execute? How do they utilize all the stuff they got? So yes, for that due diligence process, yes.
Well, great. Well, Brendan, thanks so much for being on the show. Renat, thanks so much for your input and then having Startup Accelerator and Startup VC being part of this. Again, if you guys are looking
Always
for help
happy.
with pitch decks, we'll bring you back for sure. If you guys need help with pitch decks, throw it up on our website, pitchus.com or pitchus.io. We'll give feedback and then also apply to be on our show. And if you need help with your financial models, check out Forecaster. We got links in the description and stuff like that. So thanks again.
Awesome. And thank you guys for all the great feedback. This is super valuable. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang out real quick.
Thank you for having me.